Welcome to the great courses of South Carolina. My name is Vern Wyatt, and today we're at the legendary Stoney Hill Disc Golf Course. Located in Newberry, South Carolina, Stoney Hill was designed and installed by Chris and David Sauls, who also own the property. The Sauls closed on the property in October 2004 after a 3-year land search and began building Hole 1 about 2 days later. In 2007, they built their 18th hole and held their first event. In 2009, the brothers hired a crew to clear out trees and construct the pond. The next year, they hired a bulldozer to clear the areas around the pond, which led to more holes and the beginnings of multiple layouts, with a diamond layout as the focus. 2013 saw the origin of the all-encompassing quartz layout, which is very popular with the visitors. In 2016, 4 new holes were added to create the garnet layout, with the long-term goal of having 2 separate courses close in sight. Stoney Hill has been home to many various events, the first of which was called the Quarry. However, none is as famous as the Battle of Stoney Hill, a 2-day 4-man team event. Originally a singles event, the battle was created in October 2010 after Chris's son Drake had surgery for congenital heart defect. In 2013, it changed to the team format. The battle is a charity event and supports the Children's Heart Foundation. To date, they have raised close to $10,000 for the charity.
Yeah, I've been to courses that were good courses in the woods, and you played them, and you drove home and said, "I can't remember but 2 holes." You know, also, you know the feeling.
Right,
nothing
we're
was
riding
wrong
home together, and we're going. Remember hole 7, and you're like 6 or 5, or I mean, they're all the same. You know, it's like
the hole that went up and turned right, and you can't describe it. It's just, we hope that's not the case here. We think a lot about the sequence of holes and what you just played. Did you just play 3 straight open holes, or 3 straight tight holes, or 3 straight lefty holes?
this is a putter shot. This is like a soft putter shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that island green at Fountain Inn. You know,
Right.
the first time I threw way past. I'm like, whoa! It's like a. That's how this hole is, which is good. But the next hole is also a putter shot, which I kind of wish it didn't work out that way. But the next one you have to throw really hard. It's a hard putter shot. Like I throw it, for me, as hard as I can.
So it's still 2 skill levels.
Different, exactly. This one, I'm telling you, my son is 11 and does not play much disc golf.
Mm-hmm.
He stood still and threw a shark and almost aced his hole. Okay, and I was like, okay. Part of this is we put this hole in the plan is to take out hole 12 over here, which we'll show you, goes straight down over the road to the basket's green, got a green top. You played here before.
Yes.
So it's like you have to get across the road or you go to the drop zone.
Right.
Okay. After you play the next hole in the woods, it's a steep hill that you got to climb to get to that up, down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. You know? It's
Yeah.
So I remember being out there the first time playing and being going, thinking, where the hell am I? You know, there's nothing around. I don't see another hole around. I mean, I'm on an adventure going through this course, this maze of holes. And I want to duplicate that out here. But we've kind of started to get lazy after 15 years of doing coursework. So this fairway is intersecting 10. You know.
Oh, okay.
You know, and there's some holes out here that we've tried to stay away from, so you're not going across fairways.
Right.
You know, but this one was so pretty. We almost had to put this one in.
David mentioned Brooksville and said that one of the holes out here you nicknamed Little Brooksville.
That's what I said, yeah.
What is Brooksville?
So the course down in Florida
Mhm.
on the west coast, near above Tampa, that was built in an old limestone quarry. Okay, extreme elevation. And in that part of Florida is real hilly too.
Okay.
Okay, so we went down there in 2000. I went down there in 2001, 2002. 27 hole course put in by Ken Climo and some other top pros. Hosfeld. And I mean, we're talking about like 70-foot cliffs. I mean,
not what you think of Florida. Get Florida out of your mind. This
it's
is unbelievable.
straight up and down walls, canyons, and it is big. I mean,
Okay.
how many acres? Like 60, 70 acres maybe. And then they
Seems
left
like a lot more, though,
big
when you
mounds
know
of dirt
Mhm.
all through the course and stuff. And it was 27 holes, and it was private. And so we went down there. I went down there the first time, and it was just phenomenal.
There's
I
a
mean,
bunch of holes that you get on and say, I've never played a hole like this before.
And it had big,
I mean, a lot of this.
a massive mound with one tree off the top of it and a hanging basket, which I'd never seen a hanging basket. And then they had this like a monkey grass type stuff all over it, super fast and slick. So this would hit it, slide down or roll down, you know. But
And we're talking about, this mound must be 20, 25 feet tall.
and you're throwing
Big
like
thing.
270, so 260, but you're throwing a center mound on a plateau and drop down about maybe 15 feet and then flat. You're throwing from down here. So you're having to throw up at it. It was great. It was just cool. And so we went down there and played that course and played it for a couple years, and then we get down there and we're talking to the owner of the course, and we've been warned that, you know, he's kind of a jerk, old man, just kind of, he lets the disc golfers play, you know, but don't go near his house.
Right.
And he comes out and we start talking to him, and his son lives in Columbia. His son is a car salesman who worked at one time at Dick Smith Nissan, which is next door to our insurance agency, and he used to send us business. And so we got this connection. Oh yeah, we know your son. And we start talking. And then I think the next time we come down there, he runs into David. He's like, Sauls, I need to get one of these. He's talking about his course. He's like, y'all need to build one of
He
these.
did that on the mound. He knew we were going to buy. We were buying property at the time. And I'm playing on the mound. I'm playing tournament. He's an old cranky old man. Sauls, you need one of these on your course.
Oh, the mound, yeah, the
On
hanging
the big old
basket.
mound that they've got.
And but going down there is what planted the seed for me. The first time I played, I said, that's what I want to do. I want to go and buy land and build a disc golf course, and I want every single hole to be a signature hole. I mean, seriously, that's the whole thing that started this process out here back in 2001, 2002, is that every hole's got to be great. No filler holes, no stupid holes, no I like it, but nobody else likes the hole, but I'm going to keep it because I like it. You know,
Right.
None of those. We're going to make sure everybody likes the hole when you play it, for the most part. And that's, you know, that in Brooksville. And so the tournament, they sold the land in 2005, 2006. It was gone forever. And then Sun King, Mike Barnett with Sun King, got in touch with the property owners, and they let them reopen the course back up.
Oh.
And they call it Throw Down the Mountain.
Just once a year.
And it just came, they just did live videos. You can watch it on YouTube.
So that's the Throw Down the Mountain course. Okay.
It was
All right,
called the
I
Cross
got you now.
Canyon. And if you've seen the video of that.
Yes.
Okay, you've seen that.
Yeah.
That's in Florida. I mean, that's go back and watch it again and look at it. Now, even that canyon now has, you know, when the man, what was the guy's name that owned the property?
Wish you would ask.
Yeah, his kids grew up there on the property. When they were because I have kids. My kids are 12 and 11.
Right.
And his kids, just before I had kids, and I always thought how cool it was for their kids to grow up. And it was more maintained than it is now. It's kind of...
It's a cow pasture 11 months a year.
Yeah.
They just fenced it and keep cattle on it. The guy that bought it was right before the Great Recession. He was going to develop it, and then developing real estate became a bad thing, and he stuck with it. He owes more than it's worth, and it's.
So we owe everything. I owe everything to that course.
Huh.
I owe it to Chris, because Chris got this idea. I wasn't gonna leave Columbia, but he wanted to go out and buy some land, and
we looked and looked and looked and looked for 3 years. We went and looked at property, and And the first time we came out here, David had taken me through like Winnsboro and God knows where in like a 2-hour drive, and we came across this one. I had no idea where we were. And I came out here and I said, this is way too far. I'll never live this far out.
Well, the first time I came out here in this area, looked at some land down the road, Chris would not come this far because he said he wasn't going to live this far. Lori and I, my sister and I, came out to look at some land that we didn't get, but...
And the next time we came out, maybe a few months later, we were getting ready to head off to the College World Series to follow the Gamecocks and drive out there. We came out here the weekend before, and this time we came straight from where I lived in Irmo. And I'm like, and we walked down here, and we walked to this section right here, and I said, we'll buy it.
Okay.
Brooksville had a couple of holes in the original course that you threw over a canyon. You're way up high, huge drop down, and a basket sitting on the hill on the other side.
Right.
Okay? And just terrible things would happen if you didn't get across. But it was really interesting.
From a player's eye view, you're really just throwing straight.
You're really throwing straight.
However,
And the drop was maybe 30 or 40 feet deep. And so the current versions, when they had the temporary course, do not have those holes. But anyway, to the degree that was at, this is the little Brooksville hole. What we called it. It tees up on that hill up there.
Before we built the pond.
Comes across this. There was another one, before we built the pond that was more dramatic. But even at that, you get this feeling of throwing over a valley a little bit. It's not designed after those holes, but it's just that that feeling.
Which one?
The one that lays on the ground and
Oh, okay.
the giant snake.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know where we're going once you get past the pink flags. Pink flags are marking the line so we can just see through. We're not entirely sure where we can go from there.
So that tree that's on the ground, that was the big that was the impetus of making a hole through here. That was
Yeah.
your.
Yeah, we looked at that 14 years ago and kind of thought going to the hanging basket from here 14 years ago. Thought going down that clearing that was there, and never did it. But this area is not being used. Right? It's out of bounds on that hole.
Right.
The creek and beyond. So this area is not being used. We thought we might use it and slow down the walk, the climbing the hill.
A lot of thought goes into, we'd say, for a long time, well, people are throwing this hole, we don't want to be so close to the peninsula hole, we're throwing in here, we don't want to be cramping, but after years and years and years, you realize it doesn't come into play that much, and then you realize that 362 days of the year, there's nobody else out here playing but us.
Right.
And at the beginning, we built a lot of it based on tournaments, having tournaments and stuff, and now, for me, I'm getting more out of, okay, screw the tournaments. We're just going to build it because we're the ones playing it all the time.
And I'm reminding them we can't go so far that we can't use it in the tournament.
So, it's kind of the thing is that this is the only course I play 99% of the time. I mean, yesterday I went to play your course because I just needed a change in scenery. I don't ever get out anymore, so I get burned out on playing here.
I understand. I couldn't imagine, but
Yeah, people know that. People are like, what? Huh? I'm like, no, you do when you play like 100 rounds. And so that's why I want to build new stuff to keep it fresh.
So in terms of building new things, how often do you guys just get up and walk out and say, all right, I'm just going to go walk the property and see what I see. Maybe I'll walk. So this is, you said this tree was in the back of your mind 14 years ago. So is this something that you kept coming back to and just kind of like?
I actually hadn't come back to it in 14 years. This is on a sketch of an idea that we had among many ideas when we were first doing the course.
Well, we spent.
And we hadn't come back, but we have complained about this walk a bunch.
So this is what I started working on. So we spent.
Oh yeah,
This is what started.
Okay.
I spent probably a few weeks. I mean, I just walk down here. I'm always just walking down here. I don't really play that much golf.
Mhm.
I mean, I may not play for several weeks out here. Just busy. I just don't, you know.
Right.
But I like the design holes. So we'll walk down here, and so I was looking through here, this gap, and there's a
You just
telephone
pinned it out
pole.
where you can look.
Yeah, the telephone pole right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to clear this out anyway. That's my driveway up here.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to clear it out just so when I drive past, I can look all the way down to the peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and look and see that beautiful view right there. So I started to clear it out. I'm like, okay, well, there may be a hole here. And we looked and looked and looked, and the telephone pole's like right in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get the power company to move that's gonna be a problem. So we looked and we looked up here, we looked there and looked, and then like a couple weeks later, we walked and looked at that. And we're like, weren't even thinking about that direction.
Huh.
And we're like, all right, let's clear that out and look at it and see.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that we clear out, it makes the property look prettier anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a bonus, you know. So that's kind of where we are, but I think we're kind of stuck thinking
Yeah,
that
we may
this
not
may
use-
not work.
Any of this.
I don't think we are.
Hmm.
We'll show you where the other choice. This is a choice between this and one other hole. I'll show you that up here.
So one more quick question before we move on. So you've sided this line. I saw you got some trees marked.
Yeah.
Have you taken a disc out here and tried to throw any of it yet?
Well, I guess we can go this way and show him where we're going to go, because I
That's
think
the one.
we've completely scrapped this idea right here. I'm pretty much,
I was gonna walk around the 12.
because I show you, because we built another hole.
Oh, okay.
So this is where we found the next hole, and we were trying to build a hole to the next hole,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next hole kind of evolved into something even better. And so now we're thinking maybe we'll just make a nice walk. This is a pretty walk.
We're getting ready to walk up on 2 holes that are on both layouts, 2 shared holes. We'd like to get rid of them. We know what one of the holes probably will be. But we don't know whether to stick another hole before or after. So this would be a before.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you guys mention about the walk between, because when I played with Harold the other day, he said that's one thing that a lot of designers don't even think about, is making the walk between holes interesting, because it's got to be, yes, each hole's got to be exciting and build anxiety at the same time, but what about the in-between? I mean, that's
It gives you
part
time
of
to
the...
think. That's where you're coming off that hole going, I just did a 4.
So right now on both layouts, you play from that tee to this basket.
Mm-hmm.
You walk over there and play that to the hanging basket. On both layouts, which means play them twice as often as we do.
Uh-huh.
So instead,
We're gonna make that walk.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I don't mind walking flat. You know, I mean, I don't mind that at all. That's a good time to think. But walking uphill,
I mean, literally to walk to that one, everybody has to sit down and rest when they get up there.
I think there's a bench up there, isn't there? Is that one?
Yeah, there's a well-used bench.
But let me tell you, in August,
Uh-huh.
July,
Oh, man.
at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it is brutal to walk up. That's why usually my last hole.
So we've been kicking around down here, and I was looking at an alley going through trees over there, and then Chris came over here and said, we could also do it here.
Oh.
And put a T-pad right here. When the rain is real heavy, over that debris there is a waterfall, which was there when he did it, so it looked really pretty. And you can see the gap for the first part of the hole. And you see the little orange flag, which is actually on an M14 basket. That you can throw this.
That's not where the basket's going.
Yeah, that's just as far as we got. Till we decide where to go from there.
So let me show you. Stand right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a dual fairway. There's a tulip poplar right here in the middle, the big tall one. So you see the left gap where the basket is.
Yes.
The right gap is right here, where the pine tree forms the right side.
Oh.
And it's going to go through there.
A line of big trees in the middle.
And the big trees in the middle. And we're thinking the hole might be coming in around 500 feet.
Mm-hmm. But that gives you either direction. I mean, you can forehand, you can backhand.
The hole where the basket is now
Mm-hmm.
will start to go to the right.
Okay.
It's going to make a turn and go to the right.
And it may go steeply to the right and a long way, or it may go a little bit to the right.
It's
and
going
just
to the
kind of
right.
A couple hundred, and just a little bit of way.
But it seems like, have you cleared to the right much at all yet?
No.
But it seems like there's already kind of an opening
Yeah,
there.
we'll show you if you want to, when you're ready to walk up there.
Yeah.
So, right now it's and yeah, this is a nice waterfall, but we dropped, as you can see, a lot of trees down. We gotta move the debris out of the way. We broke our chainsaw while working.
Didn't break it, chainsaw. Broke it when somebody stepped on it. Which, by the way, Chris, I'm having a lot of trouble putting it back together. Might have broken more than we thought.
So the pine tree and that cedar tree are going to start to form the right side. We're going to take this stuff out. And yes, one day this will be a beautiful view, but we got the big tree right here. That'll probably stay. The right gap will probably be a little tight. Okay.
That's good though, because if you think about it, many players are predominantly right hand backhand. So you've got the larger gap over here, which is more friendly, but the tighter gap. So do you get suckered into going for the tighter gap, or do you?
And
You know the trick though of multi-fairway holes is balancing them so people stand on the tee debating what they're gonna do. If you make one route too much easier than the other, you might as well not make the other route.
Oh, right.
You know, so the trick is to make them.
and that's why you keep it tighter on the right side, like
Yeah.
you said.
So they have to make a decision.
Yeah, you have to inspire the internal monologue or internal dialogue. Actually, am I going this way? Am I going this way?
I'd love to see people standing on the tee, holding a couple discs, and looking at their bag and looking and trying to decide what they're going to do on this hole. And we don't have many of those out here.
Yeah. And another issue is that I want to come out here and play, and today I might want to throw the backhand, tomorrow I might want to throw the forehand, or the turnover. I don't want to have to throw the same shot every single time.
Yeah.
Another part of our course design is trees. You know, like that's a dogwood. That's a real pretty dogwood, and it may be right there right now it's in the dead center of that fairway, and it may stay. It may just be the tree you may have to miss. I don't know yet, but I hate having to make that decision whether to cut it out or not.
Yeah, we have a number of types of trees that we are really reluctant to cut unless we're really sure. So sometimes the thinning out comes to cutting out the more expendable trees.
Yeah.
And waiting to see, are you really sure you want to take out these maple trees, these dogwood trees?
Because at different, I mean, you guys live here, so at different times a year, you're getting different looks of beauty.
Well, 90% of the time we're not playing golf.
That's true.
I mean, like I said, we're down here with my kids. This is a four-wheeler trail. This is what started this whole area, was a four-wheeler trail that came through. That's where it started, right here. And so we were like, we like to come down here. We go on a lot of walks and stuff with the kids. And a lot of times we come down here, they play in the creek, and I just stand here going for like an hour.
So
That's
it's a pretty area that we are not using right now.
we're not using it. And then some things change, like this tree falls, or it like opens up a gap. So we're not going to cut anything that big. I'm not.
And also trees have grown up. All this stuff was just grass and briars when we started.
Yep. You can drive it through here.
And then it grew up the really dense stuff you wouldn't want to go through, and that's opening up more. As the trees get bigger, you can walk through. You used to not be able to walk through there at all, so you start seeing possibilities.
This basket here, what type of basket is this one?
M14.
M14.
So that's
With some extra chains added to it.
Gotcha.
An old one, and just
A light one to move, easy to move.
yeah.
So
It's a putting practice.
at this point, the fairway, if you can look back, it's going to go that way. We'll see here. It's starting to go up. The right-handed gap will be a backhand shot that will fade into here.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can't go around the corner
Yeah.
that way.
So you can go backhand, and maybe the shot I take, but you're gonna fade to the left, but the basket's going up that way. So you're getting it further away from the basket.
So this is basically a diamond of trees in the middle
Mm-hmm.
that you have to go around one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then, so I was kind of thinking like a figure 8, where it kind of goes out
Mm-hmm.
and then goes up.
Oh.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
So then, if the backhand fades into right here, you know, then your next shot's going straight up that way. Okay.
Uh-huh.
If you can't see, we'll take you a shortcut to the woods. But it's going to go through there. Is the idea.
Okay.
And either you have that gap, or you may have another gap. I haven't figured that out yet.
But it looks like you're closing in on about 50% of the hole right now, and then the other one's it's going to evolve a bit.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, depending on where we go with it, we might be less than 50% of it.
It may take a couple years
Hmm.
to finish this hole.
Yeah, the hole behind Chris's house was Diamond 6.
Yeah.
Started out as a birdie hole, and it just grew and grew and grew. It's now par 5, but as time permitted and we saw new ideas or got around to the work on it, we'll
Back into here, so we can play it.
Okay.
It's not fun where it's at now.
So
There's no challenge.
now, did you decide this because that was kind of an open area there, or it's kind of suiting your long-term purposes, or both, or?
trying to get just something longer than it is.
And long term, because it will have to come out anyway.
Okay. Remember, the last 2 holes we looked at are putter holes.
Right.
So we don't want to come in here and have another short putter or mid-range hole,
Right.
because the hole after this is short. It's a driver but short. We want someone to stand on that tee and say, I got to throw really hard, but I still want to be under control to get through these trees, that alley.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So maybe a fairway driver or something.
Like 190 to that basket, I think.
So
80, so we want to go.
So we need a longer hole sandwiched between a series of short holes.
So another determining principle is that you want someone to have to file through their bag in different ways, on every hole.
Right. You play. You say this about Timmons. Now I'm weak. It doesn't matter. I love Timmons. Right. I say Timmons. You play, and after a while, you're just itching to throw a disc card.
Yeah.
Because you have played all these short holes. Now I'm old and I am throwing my driver as far as I can throw. But used to be, so as good as course is, at some point you just wish there was one open 400-foot hole that you could just rear back and throw on. And you don't want to get in that feeling where you've thrown a short shot.
I think the
Pretty
whole
creek's got like that.
absolutely got to be. I have to throw a drive. I'm the one playing it the most. Maybe not for you, because you may come out here once a year. I've got to throw a driver off this hole, and it's got to be in the 300 to 350 range for me. But in a tournament, if I got a 1-stroke lead and this is the last hole, I want the luxury to drop down to a buzz and place it to get the 3. I mean,
Yeah.
or it could be the opposite. I may be down by 1 and I need to birdie this hole.
But if it comes out here and then goes up the hill a long way, then you want to get as far as you can around up here and that's a temptation. If it comes through here and then goes up there, you're gonna say, sort of like the hanging basket. I need to juice this thing and get it around the corner, which can get you in trouble. Right? So you can either
you lose control.
Yeah. Exactly.
Chuck Kennedy came in. You know who Chuck Kennedy?
Yes.
Right. Chuck Kennedy comes out here and plays with me. And the only hole he really commented on was the hanging basket hole. And he said, this is no good. Everybody's just going to lay up to the corner and pitch up and take their 3. I said, maybe they will, but so far they haven't, because everybody wants to try to get around the corner, get up to the basket, get a putt for a 2.
Yeah.
And they get in a lot of trouble sometimes trying that, but that's the one thing that maybe the top players they get around it, but nobody else has that self-control. They're going to try to get around the corner.
I'm thinking right here, for me, it's going to be a beat-up sidewinder. Just
yeah,
lay
yeah.
into it and boom.
It's going to keep going.
It's going to keep turning, and if it doesn't,
Until you get here and you don't see this alley, take out the leaning tree down there, and the trees between us,
Okay.
and a tight down the chute shot.
that gap.
So right down through there.
So it's either put in these 2 holes and forget about the one we showed you down where the big snake tree and stuff were.
Right.
Either forget about that, put these 2 holes in to replace the 2 shared holes, or put a hole in that where we're talking about, not run this other hole quite to that basket to find 2 holes.
Oh.
Otherwise, these find 2 holes, we know that one where we got the M14 is going to be one of them. Stretch longer, and we don't know whether we're going to stick a hole before it or after it.
So this other hole will still stay, and then this.
Yeah, that's on the diamond.
Yeah, that's on the diamond layout.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
you won't play it on the garnet. That basket's just sitting there.
Oh, okay.
That's a pretty close, right?
Yeah, I remember that one.
So, hole 12 was the one we showed you goes straight down the hill, across the road. Okay. And then hole 13, this is the diamond numbers, goes to the hanging basket.
Okay, gotcha.
We're taking those 2 holes out. Those 2 holes are shared on both layouts.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So those will become diamond only holes.
Diamond only.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're trying to replace those. So the first hole would have been the one we just looked at.
Right.
Across the creek, tunnel, dual fairways to that basket.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one would be back down here.
To this tunnel.
Yep, that's a new 12, new 13.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the garnet 8, 9. That's the idea of what we're doing now to replace 12 and 13.
Now, was this open already, or was this?
You're on a 4-wheeler trail right now.
Okay, gotcha.
That would come down through the woods. We are hugging the property line.
Oh, okay.
So we can't go. You see all this pretty land over here, but they have better land than us. But that's like, you know. So it would come right down here. We hope.
But the problem is, once again, you just went putter shot, long putter shot. That's the problem.
Oh.
I think. But if it's really fun, maybe it's not.
Yeah, and the fear that this is a little bit like the first hole we showed you. You know.
We looked at this. We found this one first, and then we found the other one I showed you later. So we found that one. Oh yeah, this is actually better than any of the other ideas.
So, quick question: when you say this is a 4-wheeler trail, is this a trail that you guys cut in, or you just found open space?
No, we cut it in.
Oh, okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It didn't take much cutting, mostly because you see how it wiggles, so you don't have to cut much.
Yeah.
But I put this in a long time ago when Chris's kids were really little to make a loop that they could come walk around or ride the 4-wheeler around.
This is the edge of the
From their
property.
house.
See how close we are.
Oh yeah. This is right here.
So I think what'll happen is that hole right there. I think that we will. Right now, I'm thinking we'll probably stretch that hole to about a 300-foot hole, 350, to up in there somewhere, and then skip the one we just showed you. I don't think we'll go to number 7, just because it won't happen anytime soon. It won't go all the way up anytime soon. And then we'll walk over here, and then we'll have to find a hole somewhere else on the property.
Oh.
We got ideas. We have lots of land to work with.
You mentioned your neighbor. Are they amicable to disc golf? Is it irrelevant to them? Do they care? Or?
Nobody's ever said anything.
We have a good relationship with the people that own this property.
The people who own this property allow us to walk over there. They don't allow us to play disc golf over there. That'd be fabulous. But we don't know where that is going. The patriarch of that family died a dozen years or so ago. And there's 6 heirs, and they recently divided the land among themselves. They divided it in slices going this way. And the first slice, the immediate one next to us, went to the people who have a house already up at the road.
Okay.
So they're probably not going to do anything like that. One danger is they'll timber it, and it'll be ugly.
Yeah.
This is a little self-righteous. It's not our land, but we really wish they would not do that to it. And then there's always the possibility that
they will sell it, and then we'll be able to buy it.
And the people that owned the land, it was their mom that owned this land. When she passed, they sold the land to us. So they're Minnicks, and we're on Minnick Lane.
Right.
So this whole gigantic loop up here, all these houses are family, and our family.
So it is potential that this fence could be gone at some point in time. And
Yes, potential. If I don't know what their
I
intents
think
are.
they would have let us. The Randall, he died a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we would have asked, he would have let us use the property. He's just that nice of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of felt silly saying, we got 60 acres. Can we use 2 of yours? I mean, you know, it's like kind of a little selfish there.
See into it as always with the jungle before.
Yeah, we may cut it and play it and then decide to leave it. Not ever play it again. But this is an interesting place up in here to put a basket.
okay, why do you say that? What says that that's a?
Feature-wise, with the trees in the hill,
Yeah. Especially near the stump right there, you got a pretty steep hill.
Mm-hmm.
And the hard mature trees.
Oh, okay. And coming back through.
it would be coming out of the wood. See that pink flag there?
Uh-huh.
It's in the middle of the route, more or less.
And the next hole, you walk straight down. Here's the baskets we were teeing off right.
Oh yeah.
So you're in the flow.
Okay.
Easy transition.
The pink flag, now you can get here, you can see back through where we were standing earlier, looking at that weird tree teeing off through it
Oh, okay.
and coming out,
There's the other side of it.
and then it's a to where. There's also a debate because there's a muscadine vine here that I don't want to cut out. We do not have
And a
to.
blackberry patch right here behind you. So.
Big blackberry patch.
So you'd come out of this across the tree, out through here, and then.
Straight up.
Maybe up, maybe around the left side,
Mm-hmm.
tilt it up and go around the left side of these big trees, or maybe straight into this gap.
Oh yeah.
Which would be a shot that you could throw a driver with.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So we can.
Again, you got these. Yeah, I could see where the the inner turmoil would come, because if you got other features that aren't really disc golf related that you don't want to get rid
The
of.
kids love the blackberries.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
And the muscadine.
and we live for during the season. You get the blackberries first.
Mhm.
First you get the honeysuckles. They like the honeysuckles. And
Uh-huh.
then you get the blackberries, and then you get the muscadines, and then you get the persimmons that grow, and then you finish the year with the pecans.
Wow.
So we're running out of the blackberries because everything's growing back up.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, so
My wife, when we play on a course and I ever lose her, and I know that there's blackberries, she's snacking. There's a place at Tiger River, hole 10. You've got the 2 trees that you throw through. On the right hand side, they're blackberries, and every time I've thrown my drive, where's my wife? Oh yeah, she's back there. Her fingers are already turned colors.
yeah,
And
they fill bowls up with them, and
oh, nice.
so
If you get a chance to play Greg Frazier's new course, Flat Rock, which
Mhm.
is between Saluda and Greenwood,
Uh huh.
it's like this was when we opened it. It is
Mhm.
full of blackberries, or
Huh.
full of thorns, depending on how you look at it. If you get off the fairway, it is. But this is what we used to deal with: is people throwing into places like this. It's
Okay.
what Jay complained about. I mean, I never went any further than jeans, a jean jacket, and gloves. I never-
Uh-huh.
The funny-
to go in there and
you know, part of the course design, like this reminded me, is that we came home one day. This is like kind of woodsy and stuff right here.
Mm-hmm.
We came home one day, and the power company had come out here and completely cleared it because of the power line.
Oh wow.
yeah, this
That's
was
happened a few
trees over
times.
to-
We're like, might be a fairway there. and there was a T-pad at where the pond is in the very bottom,
Okay.
18 feet deep, and there was a logging road that went straight up.
So it was a consistent
four.
uphill
It was
shot.
400 foot. You landed, and then you had to go up more into that gap.
Mm-hmm.
And we built the pond. We lost that hole. And we'll show you this to you later. We got from that gap, and we said, "What if we cut the woods out the backside, and we come back in the opposite direction?"
4 years later.
4 years later. So you asked, what's the time frame of building holes?
Uh-huh.
Well, that hole was there for years.
Right.
And it completely, the basket we moved the basket. The basket used to be further into the hole, and we came in from the other direction. We moved the basket back down.
It had just been a camping area that we kept mowing.
And it's become,
An ex
to me,
hole.
it's one of the best holes on the course.
And yeah, it's just one of those.
It's just a phenomenal hole that we
Yeah.
approached it from the opposite direction, became better than the original.
When we bought this property, one thing I did was went and found a bunch of John Houck articles on the internet.
Oh, okay.
And read them. And that was one of the things that was in there, is look at the fairway forward and backwards. Sometimes the other way, you think you're so fixed on this way that the other way is better. And was good advice. You got a lot of things out of
But building the
how-
pond created some problems,
Mm-hmm.
having to reshape some holes and stuff. But in the end, we knew it'd be better.
So at one point, this was a valley with trees,
Right.
and then
And
there.
you should have seen what that hole right there was sort of kind of there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was wooded on both sides, and it was nasty. I mean, it was,
This area down, this nice pretty green area down here, was full of windrows, which are big piles of debris,
Mm-hmm.
taller than us, in long lines, old logs and stuff,
Oh.
covered in briars. And you had to throw out this T-pad over that stuff,
Ooh.
or heaven help you if you got into it. It was briars and shaky logs and fire ants. And you had to throw past that tree that's sitting there now, one tree. And when they did the pond, they moved all that for us as a bonus. They cleared that area. So, and the funny thing, one time we decided to burn it. And this is old logs, been there a couple of years, and dirt and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we set it on fire, and then it starts drizzling. And it kind of puts the fire out, but not really. So for weeks, this thing smoked. And it burned a little crater in the pile, maybe 15 feet across. And if you just went in there, it would melt, because it was like a little volcano sitting down there in your path if you underthrew it.
and we thought that if we lit the fire a month before a tournament, it'd be okay. No, it was still smoldering and smoky when the tournament came. We carried a bunch of railroad ties.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you've ever lifted those things, but they're heavy.
Yes.
Okay. So we had them around the green,
Oh.
around the tree, on the edge of the water,
Uh-huh.
okay, like a wall. Had them stacked up in landscape.
Yeah.
A ton of them. Pond flooded. We did not know those things float. They all-
Battleship, they may be heavy, but they still float.
Yeah, they all just floated off in different directions around the pond, and then got waterlogged.
Oh.
And we're like, well, we're not going to put those back.
Yeah.
That was coarse maintenance that you didn't want to have to deal
The
with.
timbers.
Yeah, they all disappeared and floated off around the
These things
pond.
are so freaking heavy coming out.
Should stretch. Maybe.
Back in. Yeah, this is a hole I had just serious doubts about. It's turned out to be really cool.
I like this hole.
It's also amazing that it's as hard as it is.
It's rough.
Not bad for a 150 earlier.
Into the wind.
That's gonna be good.
Oh, wow.
There it is. Get
That's how the hole's supposed to This tree stand up in this tree. And it took us years to get around. I kept looking at it saying, I like these trees on the left have a big turnover shot. Finally, we got enough donations to hire a bulldozer for a day.
The bulldozer got slowed when he stirred up a yellow jacket's nest, and they were faster than the bulldozer.
Ah,
I think we're good.
good rip, good rip. Little fat angle.
There it is.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, but still.
Still safe.
It'll play. You can trade that with anybody. That's pretty good too. Oh, look at that glide.
Well, not as the last hole, but before that.
Good.
Oh, that's pretty.
My goodness.
It's a cool shot when it works. So you hit that right dead center like that. That's
It is cool when that happens. Might be a little too right.
That's pretty. Nice. It's probably really fun trying to get.
Well, it was like
out here.
that moment where do I leave the tractor
Ask me.
As an obstacle,
Maybe.
if it stays on the ground.
Yeah.
leave the tractor in the fairway 2 days
Yeah.
before a tournament, or do I try to lift it back up to the house with no oil?
Yeah, but it's on the.
Right to left wind, man. It got a hold of it.
I used to use them for putters and really heavy windy days.
Good shot.
Really nice.
Go, go.
Oh no! Well, if anybody deserved it, that was Bird.
Now, too many people go all the way down the side hitting trees.
Holy moly.
It's an easy game, really.
Apparently.
That's good. Real good.
Get in it. Come on, give me an ace.
Ready, man.
Right. Oh, get left, left, left,
That
left,
could be
left. Good shot. This is the hole you used to have to throw over huge debris piles to get past that lone tree out there.
My first played Val tomorrow and had a
Oh,
smolder in
that is
the pile.
gorgeous.
You'll pull out of it?
It is. Damn, dude.
All right, who wants to follow that? Get it. Oh!
What'd you throw there?
Sidewinder.
I guess the Sidewinder was a good shot after all.
All right, that's one.
I think it's still Chris. That's me. Not enough.
Yeah, that sucked.
Well, that would have been awesome if it was.
It's actually not bad.
Even
It
more.
would awesome if it was in line.
I just rethrow if I was you.
That spring, I put him in the spring so many times. Good shot.
Dang.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
What's the distance across here, you think?
The cross is not that far.
Well, it depends on which way you're going across.
Yeah.
But
What you don't
Not
want
as
to do,
far
you
as the
don't want
last
to hang
hole.
it, pull it too much inside and put it in the swamp.
yeah, past that bridge is still water.
Okay. So really the best plan is to go up so you got a shot going up the hill.
Yeah. Good shot.
That's good.
Yeah, that's to protect David's windows. Compromised this whole window. Hit the house up before.
I put it on
A
your
little too far left.
The difference is if you didn't have a Mando, all the right-handers, or a lot of right-handers, would take that route. So it's not really overstable. Cedar's getting wider, so I have no idea. Pass is coming down, and I get down before we get down the hill. I should, but I'm not going to make a different mistake.
Nice throw.
Could just be a little tear. Maybe two.
Yeah.
April.
I'm actually worried about cringe today.
All I know about you two is so little you can't see it. I mean, you can't hardly see
Wow.
it. Easy. Okay, he's got a shot coming now. Get left, get left, get left. Oh, sweet.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of the legendary Stoney Hill course. It's taken a little longer to complete than I originally anticipated, but hopefully you can see why. Everything about Stoney is completely epic, and it needed an epic length, an epic time to work on it to make this thing get together. Special thanks to the following people, my notes. Thanks to David and Chris Sauls. They let me come out and tour the property. We spent a couple hours just walking around talking about different things as you saw. They answered all sorts of questions in person via email and on Facebook Messenger. They put a lot of time and effort into this, and I really appreciate it. Thanks to David and Chris. Thanks to Jay Sauls and Jeff Corn for playing along on the round at Stoney Hill.
There's also so many more stories about Stoney Hill than this video could contain. Like the time they found a flaming truck on one of the holes that had been quote-unquote stolen. Craziness. There's all sorts of great stories about Stoney Hill. I would recommend visit the Facebook page, look at the photos. If you have the opportunity, go play Stoney Hill. Talk to the Sauls brothers. There's just so much history about this course. I've labeled hole 18 the signature hole only because it's on the logo. Honestly, every single hole at Stoney Hill is a signature hole. As I think Chris said in the video, every time I go to a different hole, I feel like I have never played a hole like that before. That's the joy of Stoney Hill. It's just great design. Alright, until next time, keep banging those cheeks.